Hello, my name is Dhanush, and this is my um revisions that I've done on my draft two. So I'm the PE, so I'm doing the results and figures. So to start off, the BPIDs, I fixed that by actually adding the BPIDs and everything like that. And um I changed the formatting on top to just make it results. And also a lot of these there's a lot of smaller mistakes here that honestly I had to just redo the entire thing. You can see that as we go on, you'll see that I fully add a lot more content to it and just elaborate a lot more on the actual discussion of this results. And I fixed up all the figure captions. And you'll see that they're slightly different because I added more figures, deleted them. But you'll see that later. So right, you can see figure two. You can see that um I changed that to make it like figure one, like it says here. And I also just added the parentheses. And um basically I tried to remove all the sentences that sounded like intro-ish because this should be more like concise and just like to the point. And you can see at the bottom here, it starts to do like a lot more like citations, which isn't supposed to be here. So I deleted all those. And just I tried to take out this intro sentence like right here, like an insertion here. And as you can see, that sentence is not anywhere nearby. You will see that a lot of this is different because honestly, there's a lot of mistakes here. Like you can see that there's a lot of deletion type mistakes here that I just simply thought rewriting in my own way with like more like in depth and just more to the point. I thought that would be more beneficial. So here, there's so I again took off the citation here and um I took out some things that you could see that aren't supposed to be in the results section. And there's like some actual errors with the indentation and things like that. You can see, as you can see here, is also fixed the indentation here. Um, and this was like important because you can see that there's a lot of smaller mistakes that aren't actually content based, but just some things don't belong here. As you can see, like mine are just straight referring to the figures and um just referring to the figures and just like coming back to the point of just explaining them. And a lot of this is just talking about what it should be, right? And we just see like if you can see here we further contrast the predicted band sizes and stuff like that. It's just talking about like what we think, right? Like the previous author of this, and it's just talking about what we think. And the new thing, as you might have seen if you're reading this, you will notice that it's just straight to the point. Like I said before, it's actually explaining what the figures are and it's giving a lot. So a lot of the figure on the CFTR mutation, since we haven't done any like actual experiments on the actual R mutation itself because we don't have our primers, you'll see it refers to a predicted figure. But other than that, every single other figure is just straight to the thing. I added more figures than what was in my original paper here that you see here. But whenever you see figures uh two, when you see this figure two here, it means figures two, three, and four. And this will be figures six, and this is figure five. Um, so basically, like here, you can see a lot of issues where it's just like deletion. Like I would have to delete like this entire line here, and it just doesn't tell us like what our data is. Like this doesn't tell us like what is even going on in the predicted figures made by the previous author. And it's just that see, there's a lot of issues here, and you can see that I honestly changed a lot of that. You can see here. I see here, and this, like I said before, I'm just trying to get to the actual figure. Again, there's good figure citations here, and it's just predictions. Like it doesn't say like anything about like the rest of the results. Like it's not referring enough to the actual figures, and um that's something that changed a lot that I had to write. So that's why I thought it was beneficial to honestly practically redo the entire thing. Um, but yeah, as you can see, even if that one predicted figure that I said like I use is I clearly explained what was going on, right? And you can see like how it was all written carefully. And I talked about like the actual um figure and what it does rather than what we think will happen. Yep, like I said, there wasn't more to put on the side here. It was just more writing, more elaboration, and this is what I ended up finishing our results section. So now this is honestly the only figure that I kept from the previous thing. It is a predicted figure. I know this is something that will not give you points, but I thought that this would be beneficial because the CFTR is something that we haven't discussed yet, and having a figure like this will help me discuss some of the components of that because that is something that has to be in our results section because I can't just discuss about the Lambda virus. So I changed up some things here because of formatting issues. You can see that I made it A and B section B panel. And you can see that here's just up and down. And honestly, you can see I had to delete this, but you can see that I had to be like on the right, on the left. I can see how that could be hard because then they say bottom here too. So I had to fix that all like the orientation wise. And I also expand a little bit on the thing because I think there could be more that I could expand on. But I think that I could um what's it called? Expand more on the actual content of this and also to talk about this comment right there. Did we draw this? The previous author actually used biorender. This biorender is in our appendix and our works cited. It's something that we use to create this these two figures. Okay, so honestly, I the as we go on, the figures will start to not match up with the figures that are done, but I'll just discuss this. This is a predicted figure. I removed it because predicted figures don't have any significance for draft two. So, but it did help me like discuss like how the figures like how discuss how um they should have figures should look for CFTR and stuff like that. So I did use some inspiration from these, but at the same time, I did not actually use these. So this is completely deleted. But as you can see here, this is our first gel that we created. It was very bad, but I'm not gonna read this fully, but basically this is how we figured out how we should run our gel for 200 volts for 30 minutes. Yep. But honestly, as you can see here, there's not that much detail here. Like which ladder, like I had to like make it here, like Sid Labs ladder, DNA ladder. I had to like change some stuff here, but I used some the comments from this and tried to incorporate to my things. Yeah, so there is no side thing here because this there's more figures than there were in the previous thing. But this is also another mistaken one. But basically the issue with this one was that the Lambda virus bands showed up past the gel ladder and that it could be due to the lack of us um a good process in how the gel was run. Another one here. This one it went past, and the bands were thick. So it was like the first graph had was look very sloppy, but it went past ladder too. So this one just went past ladder, and this one was a little more detailed. You can see a little more bands, but as you can see here, the 100, 200, 300, 400, but it still was pretty sloppy and showed up after. So here, is another one. Honestly, these two don't have much relation. I noticed, like in general, I know we had to remove our predicted figures, but at the same time, this just the same as the figure two, though they see earlier as this one. So there wasn't really a point. As you can see, is literally that right side of that figure two was just these four bands. It was just another thing. So yeah, so I had just deleted this, and this is just this was actually our ladder, our gel that we ran. You can see that this you'll see later on that this is the one that we created um the graph out of. And this is like after this, you can see that's a little more detail in the figure caption, but this is how we knew how to do the PCR and how long we kept our um gel running for. Yeah, see, this is something also deleted. Very confusing, honestly, this figure. And honestly, very similar to figure two and three, like it says here. So honestly, deleted. And the controls, like it's just not very detailed enough. And honestly, I thought it would just be better off to thing. And honestly, some of these things doesn't make really make sense for our paper in general. So I delete that. So this table won't really give me any points for this section, but I thought this would be good to have because this does explain our SID Labs 100 BP DNA ladder, and this is something that we're using in all of our experiments. And for our Lambda virus that we've done so far, and for in the future for our CFTR, this is what will be used also. So I thought that would be good to include. Here, this is just something I added. This is from the previous thing, but it was something that was deleted because it was a predicted figure. And honestly, this is just, it's hard to explain and just there wasn't any point. This is just from our paper and it could be a lot more detail in this for sure. But this is our figure from our successful gel graph that you see here is really nice. And you can see how I explained the R squared value, our equation, and how it actually represented the value that I should have got for how the base pair amount. Yeah. This should be figure six. I added some figures, so this should be figure six, table one, figure five, figure four, figure three, figure two, and figure one. Just those two issues that I made. But overall, those are the revisions I made. Thank you for listening.